Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trader with Color Olubodi. So nice to be with you again tonight. Trader is all about encouragement. It's all about giving you hope. It's all about letting you know that this is not the end. No matter what you are going through, it's not ending this way. The Lord is going to make a way for you. And you're still going to see yourself standing one day to see what the Lord has done. I never knew it was going to be this way. Lord will give you testimony. Your life will always experience the goodness of God, the glory of God, in the name of the Lord Jesus. So, Through It All is all about encouragement, like I've said, and it's derived from my book, Through It All, the memoir of my many trials and triumph. I have been through it all. Mention the trouble or the problem or the situation or circumstance. I have been through it all. But the beauty of it all is that the Lord showed up at every junction of my life and he proved himself mighty and strong. All right. So if you have not read through it all, please visit tia.com.ng and download the ebook, and you can start reading almost immediately. And if you are interested in the hard copy, visit tia.com.ng and you can always order for the hard copy and it will be sent over to you. All right, so Through It All this week is still in the mood of celebrating the 20th anniversary of Background Check International. That's a company that pioneered the background screening industry in Nigeria. And I'm a stakeholder in that company. To the glory of God, I serve as the CEO of the company. And Through It All is celebrating with BCI, the landmark age of 20. Many companies die before their fifth year. So if we are 20, we are really grateful to God because it could only have been God. It could only have been by his doing, and it is marvelous in our sight. All right, so last week we started the celebration with BCI, and we brought some of the staff to BCI, on Through It All to share their BCI stories. And I got a lot of feedbacks, a lot of good words, and everybody now wants to work in BCI. Unfortunately, we don't have that vacancy for now. All right, but we really appreciate all the kind words, all the prayers, and everything. Thank you so much. All right, so this week we continue in that mood. We'll keep talking to some of the stakeholders in background check, some of the staff, both the senior staff and the junior one, just to hear them say their own experience, the BCI experience. All right, so I want you to follow me on this journey again today. I hope you're going to be blessed. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to it, like this video. If you like what you're saying, feel free to share it with others. All right. I say take this journey with me and let's enjoy today's episode of Through It All. God bless you. All right, so I'm moving on with interviewing the people that are called BCI. The company is made up of people, so the people are actually the BCI. All right, so with me is Peter. Ubuoke.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Nice to have you on Through It All.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Nice to have you here. All right. So, how long have you been here?
This will be my 10th year.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were going to say 5.
Time flies.
Wow. I always think people don't stay long in organizations. So what do you think is responsible for you being here 10 years?
Well, I feel people stay where they are judged.
Oh, really?
People stay where they can see that they are actualizing themselves. People stay where they feel they are better than they were yesterday. People stay for a lot of reasons. Like for me, staying in BCI has been that BCI has been to be like what I looked forward to personally, like about the work environment. You know, like for me, being a very, 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 very naive, so to say, young person from the East, having to leave Enugu for the first time to just Plateau State, and not knowing what the future holds, apart from the fact that I was going to NYSC. And my parents were like, oh, Ifeanyi Chukwu. Is this what you want to do? Is this where you want to go? Don't you want to relocate? And I know other people relocating. But it was like that journey of no looking back. And I saw myself as a man who was already trying to find something for himself. Because my people have a saying that if you do not hear if you don't heed to the words of your parents, you always meet difficulty. But if you overheed the voice of your parents, you will never follow your age mates.
Oh, really?
So I find that very deep that it comes to a time when you have to take your own decision as a man, or even as a young person. So I found myself at that crossroad. So in Jos, I had to go at that point to self, notwithstanding I've not left the East. So it was through there that I found myself here in BCI. You know, so being here also and staying here for these 10 years has been because BCI gave me the aspiration of that young boy who left the house in search of greener pasture, so not knowing what the road is, found a place he felt, oh, this looks like the road, and walking it, saying, oh, okay, it appears to be the road too. So it's yeah, for me that's just it.
Wow. All right. Let's talk about Trinity before I ask you other things.
Okay.
I think you were one of the very first persons that read the book Through It All.
Yeah.
And I know you've always spoken about your experience and encounter when you read the book.
Yeah.
So do you want to share it with the people?
Oh, awesome. You know, like I told you, I read Through It All like a one full sweep. Like it's this kind of book that is unputdownable. I remember vividly. Because my first time, like when I first came to Lagos, you know, I told you, I think you interviewed me as well after the MD had. And I remember Oak was like, during my interview, Oak was, do you know where you're going to stay in Lagos? And I was like, very well, I know I have where to stay. Meanwhile, Baba don't get where to stay. You know, and I didn't know one thing. I didn't know that Oak had this culture of having young boys, young people around who like to help them find their own ground. And you had at that point there were like 5 boys even staying in your house. And I was supposed to be the 6th person. If not that I said I had a place. You know, but I didn't want a situation of if I said I didn't have a place and I was going to the job, I would have lost the job. So I had to say I have a place, and I was convinced that even if it had to be on that bridge, I would be and get the job. So why I brought this point here is that when you gave me that book, I was lying on the bare floor where I was with one of my benefactors, whom I consider one of my benefactors now in Lagos. We were all in, 3 of us were in the same one room. Because he let that, even without knowing me, he allowed me in his house, and sincerely, that was very seminal for me. So I was lying on that floor, reading through it all till the next morning. And there were a whole lot of spiritual insights. For me, there are a lot of books that talk about forms, but few books talk about substance. Because with substance, you can regenerate form in different aspects. But the only few books tell you what the substance is. Only most of them tell you the form. So I was reading through it all with that insight. I noticed that when you were leaving school was the time I was born. So when you were leaving school was the time I was born. So what
That
happened?
should be 1988.
Yes.
Okay.
So was the time I was born, and when I got to that part, what that brought to me was that there are people that are waiting for your manifestation, Sapi. Somebody is being born now, and what you are doing with your life now will determine the trajectory of theirs. And it was really sublime for me.
That's so deep.
It was really sublime for me. And I was like, wow, I have to also not let that person that was being born when I was graduating from school and getting the distinction. So I have to also make sure that I do for somebody else what you have done for me and some other young people also here. So for me, through it all was that kind of book that gave. And then there's this another standout moment in through it all, particularly the heap of debts in where you currently have your house. When I got to that point where you mentioned where the house currently there was a heap of debt, and it was more like where nobody else wanted to build or something, and you prophesied on that land. And that point was the point of like everything is possible. It's about that strength of desire and deep spiritual conviction. You would have to tell yourself that no matter what the ground is, it is for your favor. No matter what the ground is, it is for your favor. And the fact that you eventually built there and you're still there till today, and look at all the things you've achieved for yourself and for your family. So it doesn't matter the ground, it is you and your spiritual conviction of what's going to be for you. So after reading that as well, I was like, okay, because working in the diaspora is not an easy thing, but I told myself, no matter the ground, it will be my favor.
Wow. I think that's so profound. All right. Wow. So that's so profound. Very, very profound, Peter. Wow. And I know you are a very deep person. You're a very deep person. And I know that a lot of the innovations and inventions and reinventions that happened in BCI, it's because you are a very deep and analytic person that you've always introduced some of them. Or am I saying wrongly?
There's this saying that says, how did they say it again? That something does not fall far from the apple does not fall far from the tree. So I think, and I truly believe this. I always say this, and I mean everything I say, and I say what I mean. The truth is, I may have a lot of experiences that helped me as a person, as a human being. Being like somebody that love exploring, love reading and whatnot. But there's this thing about BCI that was a turning point, like a pivot for me. And that's the point, the fact that BCI is like an America of the world. I think I've said this I like to say this to young people that come to BCI. because being here for the past 10 years, I would say I've also been through it all, you know. You know, so I was always telling young people that come to BCI. BCI is like America of the world, like the Lagos of Nigeria. Everything is possible. So the only thing that is not possible is the limitation you put to your mind and your mindset. If you think it's not going to work, it's not possible, it won't be possible. And one of the things that made me do that, have that mindset positioning is, I think because your help and DMD, who is also that Mr. Show, everybody, who is also who has been my direct boss, like my direct report from the very first day I started. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence. Because if you remember, one of the first meetings I went, was Dangote meeting. It was very, very first meeting. I remember, I wasn't supposed to be in that meeting, you know, because they requested, I saw the mail, they requested for the MD and top or executive of the company. And then you said, Peter, prepare, you're going for the meeting with me and the MD. I was like, that was the first year. I was like, who am I to be in this meeting? But something changed. Something in that meeting helped me. Because, one, the confidence you reposed me to take me along, right? That was something, particularly for a young person who you have something in you. You want to add value, but the platform is one thing. You know, so you were like, let's go for this. And coming there, seeing the vice president, I think vice chairman of Dangote at the time, I think it was down what was his relatives, that the person he can send for such a high profile meeting was there, and he came in, and I was like, wow. So I was there in that high level stakeholder meeting, where some important things are discussed that normally HRs will not discuss, the normal procurement will not discuss. There are meetings so that's helped me, and many of those kind of meetings that I've been to. I remember one of them, like Christopher Collady's, one of his lectures. We went in the night, and one night like that, and we stayed through. These are seminar points, and that's why I remember them. You know, so those kind of meetings and then also the stock exchange meeting. I was also there. So these are some of the meetings I've been that really help shape. I thought that, I'm into something in this, and we have to make something work. And because of the confidence, you know, back in this East, like I always tell people, you just have to learn about people, understand them before you can make your judgments. You know, there's, even though we have many people who haven't been in the East from the West here, we are more Igbo, more this, you know, that kind of thing. And they will have this prejudgment about you that without even getting to know you. So it seems like that in the East. So having heard those kind of things and coming here and seeing a different thing. So seeing somebody who could say, or trust you with those kind of high level stuff. Okay. So that helped me. So it helped build my confidence. And also, so when I'm now learning about things and seeing some of the problems we have within the company that is solvable, because every company has problems, and that's the reason we are even a company, because we are solving other people's problems. So when we see those problems we also have within the company that are solvable based on thinking clearly and also innovatively, we see that, because Oka has given us this belief that we could do this, go ahead and free hand. So we go ahead and implement. And the next thing is, what do you think, sir? You know, and those times also when those agreements, you know, this actually made me. I've always loved law. I only studied law, but somehow during our time, one thing happened, and I didn't go for law again. I went for public administration. But BCI made me embrace my passion for law by those agreements that I was always reading. Like I can say, I have read every agreement that we have in this company. So we don't sign. I don't even if you're going to push to the lawyers to go to. I try to go through them myself so that I can look at it from the business perspective, and if there are things I'll have to advise the lawyers and say, okay, can we relax it so that the business could flow? So we do that. So those times that you say, Peter, review this agreement, Peter, do this particular one has been very similar. And that's what I try to do for the young ones as well. So that confidence, I always say, you have to have a skill in the game. Because for me, I feel it is that skill in the game that makes the difference, even for any young person. Because you have to feel, I'm a stakeholder in this, we have to make this work. And that way people can be at liberty to give some things that they would have done normally to you to do. So I feel these are some of the reasons why we have been innovating, because you have given us a platform, and DMD also being such an excellent human being, you've given us a platform to excel and to do the things that we love to do and to fly.
All right, thank you for mentioning all those things, Peter. Of course, right from day one of the things we told ourselves is that, yes, we are getting the right people on the bus. If you have the right people, smart, intelligent, passionate young people, then there's no need for you to micromanage them. And of course, when you start micromanaging, it's a way of you pointing it out that we don't trust ourselves here. And of course, in BCI, trust has been one of the biggest things we do. Right from the time of you entering here, if there's going to be trust issue, we won't let anybody stay. Because if you are here, we are not going to be micromanaging anyone. And I think that's one of the things that have helped a lot of you come up with ideas, and then we look at it and say, why not? Let's fly with it. Some work, and there's no problem with that. We just move on. And a lot of them have worked. And 20 years we are here. All right. I know the times I've fought with you be that, why didn't you talk? If you know something, if you feel like there's an idea, talk. Worst case scenario, I would say, no, we are not going with it, Mm-hmm. All right. So I know you also talk so much about situations that happened during the COVID. So maybe you want to mention that again here.
Well, I think the collective of my experience in BCI are like settled in moments, important moments, like based on, even if I look at the trajectory of my life as well, it's all about moments. And it's moments that, it's a moment that can make somebody take a decision that determines the rest of their life. Moments. So the COVID moment was a very seminal moment for BCI and for people like us, because I remember it was a time when everybody was like, the whole world was confused.
We have never been there before.
We have never been there. That's why that moment that I think Moses' father-in-law said, pay attention, because we have never been this way before. So the COVID moment was that moment. They presented us with that moment. And the interesting thing is that the year before was somehow, right? And yeah, we managed to get over it, get through it, and the Lord saw us through it. And coming to the new year, and COVID was already striking by January from other parts of the world. By February, Nigeria was already talking about, would there be lockdown? We are like, which lockdown again? So one thing about that year for BCI, for people like us, was the empathy of the leadership. COVID, most of the company, most of our friends at that point would always say that they were retrenching, they were not being paid salaries, they were cutting their salaries. A lot of stories were happening. I can tell you that was the year I added the most weight, I guess. That's the job. And that has been something about BCI. We are an anti-fragile company. Most companies are robust and yeah, a lot of things could hit them and they could be standing, but they are damaged. Somebody could be standing but damaged. They are robust. It only takes time before they cave in. But we are anti-fragile because one of some of our stressors, even our enablers, the most stressing time have been the most interesting time for us. So that's anti-fragile system and context. So that period, the way the leadership, we weren't thinking we were getting our salary. At least we are not. I had already resolved in my mind, and Easter was coming. Easter was coming, and I had resolved in my mind. Salary will show because being on the business side and getting one of that colleagues in another industry is already saying any decision the company took at that time not to pay salary or to cut it would have been accepted because like we work like family here and it's something that you can always talk about and everybody will understand. But to our surprise, not only were we paid the salary, but we got all the bonuses in full. The culture of Easter bonuses is like even here we don't have Muslims, but we get the Salah bonus. That kind of thing. So the bonuses we didn't know was going to come, but then it came, and then the salary came in full, and eventually even all through the month we were on lockdown, and sincerely coming out of that. Some of us, you could see it from the drive or even the staff, like the remaining, just like what the Bible says, like the remaining part would be the best part. The remaining part of the year was really awesome, and even that year we got salaries even increased that we reviewed. So that period was really a very important period for some of us to say, yeah, we believe in this company. We believe in the potentials he has. We believe that we have the people, the leadership who can take this company to the great height that they say they want to take it to. Because it's something for leaders to talk about where they want to go, but you have a reason to doubt. Well, is it not a lamba? That kind of thing. But in this case, from those actions, you already know that, if things were this low and we were empathized with, we didn't need any magician or something to tell us, this was it. And for me, at that point, it was also, I think 2020 was, I was already like 5 years in within the company. So for many people who leave a company like after 5 years, gathered at least requisite experience, but it was another opportunity to reevaluate and say, this is the kind of human company I want. Because like I told you and DMD during my interview, even though I was still very young, I said every day, whenever I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like coming here to work, that's the day I resign. I still mean that every blessed day, because like I have always, every time I try to introspect and check my gauge and do I still want to come and work? Is this something I feel, do I still have this in me to do this? Because I wouldn't want a situation when I'm working and I am like pretending to love what I'm doing or to love the people I work with, whereas I don't. So, but every day I gauge it and I feel like, okay, we still have something to do. And that's why for me, this 20 years have been part of the half part of the 20 years. It's exciting for me and I can't wait to see you take it from here.
Wow. Thank you, Peter, for all you've done in BCI. Thank you for all you're still doing. And I hope for many more years to come, you wake up in the morning and you still feel like coming here. Thank you so much. All right, so let's talk about BCI I mean, the BCI of the future. What future do you see in BCI?
For one, I'm convinced that it's an exciting future, frankly, because like at least the current landscape, a lot of things are changing within the industry. Like we always discuss during our sessions and ideation and brainstorming sessions. Things are changing within the industry, and being an anti-fragile entity, we are not just responding, we are making those changes happen. I was talking to a particular partner that we're trying to secure, and one of the things they said was a validation to some extent of some of the ideations we have done to show that okay, we are not responding to what is happening, we are making this happen. And we are not just making it happen for our own prosperity alone, we are making it happen for other people's prosperity as well. And that for me is the gauge of a company that's going to last. For me, so I feel very excited because the future is very bright, and we have a lot of things to do. Just like the divine mandate you got for BCI. I think this is the period we start trashing.
Can you remember the words of the divine mandate?
Well, not exactly, but what I did
Just
is
paraphrase it.
yeah, what I did when you first gave us that mandate and the scripture from Isaiah, and what I did was to keep understand it from the whole view. And sincerely, I was talking to somebody the other day. I said there's a spiritual force behind BCI. I see God's hand is within the company. There's no two ways about it. You have to be in a place and you have to be attuned with the place to feel the pulse, to know that there's something extraordinary happening here. So it's a divine mandate. We are privileged to transpose it into business outcomes.
Wow.
So I feel that the next 20 years, if we are going to benchmark on 20, is going to be the 20 that we expand our coast truly, and we are out there. We are securing more continents. We are being in other parts of Africa, not just with partnerships, but with presence. And also enabling those partnerships that those countries have to have offered. I'm seeing a BCI where before there are a lot of things we could do with the states. The states, I mean the country, the leadership of the country, with the experience that we've gathered over these past 20 years, seeing how it is done, seeing how it is done elsewhere, seeing how we could push the industry into something that the government could see the potentials, and to know that we can work hand in hand with the government to do a lot in terms of making a sane, presentable, and data-driven society. So I think that is where I'm seeing ourselves, and I think we have all the things to make it happen.
Wow, thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, sir.
You didn't talk about the divine mandate.
Okay.
That is actually Isaiah chapter 41, verse 15.
Yeah.
The Lord told us, he said, I'm making you into a new, sharp, threshing instrument, having teeth. You're going to thresh the mountains, and of course, thresh the hills, and you're going to beat them small.
Exactly.
All right. I think that's what God has been helping us to do in the last 20 years. And interestingly, Peter, a while ago, I checked that scripture again in another translation.
Okay.
And then, another revelation hit me afresh. He said, that translation was talking about the teeth. He said, I'm making you into a sharp threshing instrument with many teeth. I got stuck in that many teeth. I've always seen teeth. So it sounds like tooth. But when he said many teeth, and I said, oh, okay. So there are going to be many things we are going to be doing.
Exactly.
So it's not just like BCI. BCI is going to keep giving birth to many teeth.
Exactly.
So this tooth has grown to be 20 years. And now we need to make the remaining teeth come out.
And then, and interestingly, just like a machine, if a machine has like these teeth, the strength of the teeth of a machine determines how much it could do.
That's true.
Right. So many teeth. the word many is not limited. It didn't say it's going to be 100,000 teeth. It didn't say 200,000. It didn't say it could be trillions of teeth.
So the number of teeth we will eventually grow is actually dependent on us.
Exactly.
Is if you can dream big enough, the teeth will keep growing.
Exactly.
And when we say no, we've had enough, then the teeth will stop growing. It's really very nice talking to you, Peter. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, sir.
Thank you having you around there.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
All right, thank you, P. Thank you, everyone. That is Sapi. We call it in-house. He's one of our engine room here, and is also a departmental head. He heads the what do you call
business
it?
growth.
The business growth and development department of BCI. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you so much, sir.
God bless you.
Have a good one, sir.
All right, so I have another wonderful stakeholder in BCI with me at the moment. Her name is Sheol Olujobi.
It's nice to be
So
here.
BCI, Sheol is actually the head of our operations here in BCI. So, Loashin, welcome to Trader.
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege to be here. So,
I think I've brought you to Trader one time before.
yes.
That should be a very long time ago.
Yes, that should be like, my baby will be 6, so that should be like 5 years. Is it 6 years?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. All right, so let's share your BCI experience. How long have you been in BCI?
This year will be the 10th year.
The 1 and 3.
Yes.
Wow. Is it that 13 years?
Yes, it's like yesterday.
Wow. So how has it been?
It has been really, really good. Just like I remember when I joined BCI, even before I joined BCI, I've heard a lot of good things about BCI. Then I was always going home with a colleague, a church member, her name is Rumi, and she's always talking about BCI this, BCI that, and I was working in a place, and the place was a little bit toxic, and she's always like, BCI this, oh God, I want to work in BCI. So when I was in 400 level, so we wanted to do, I was told to do a night. So I was looking for a place to. Actually, I got a place, but she was like, don't worry, my God, don't worry. I was like, I cannot do it that way. She said, don't worry. And I just came in, I spoke with you, and I was like, sir, but I just needed a place. After my height, I'll be things like, don't worry. I like you. I know you will do well.
Oh, was that what I said?
Yeah, you said you will do well. And the way you speak, I like it.
Oh, really?
Just come and resume in May. I'm like, she easily.
I should have made my face very, 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 very tough. Alright.
You were so friendly.
Of course, you know, one thing is that people make interview look like a big thing. So people come in unrelaxed, people come in nervous, people come in not being their best. So interviews at times is not always the best ways of you determining the true identity and personality of people. So that's why in BCI we choose not to make it that tough. So we believe more in chatting with ourselves than in making it look like you have to even be afraid.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I had to just, put that in.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. So I remember when I started, like it was a new thing for me because I've never heard of a company that does background check. That you have to check where you're staying, you have to check your, it was a whole new thing for me. That at the time I have to be calling people I know, please, the address you put on your CV, let it be the address. The this you put wherever you're working,
Don't lie. Don't lie when it comes to your age.
Yeah, don't lie when it comes to your age. So it was a whole new thing for me. And for me, I felt so happy because I felt I was giving back to the society. Because there are some people that needed this job with the right qualification, with everything, and they are not getting it. While there are some that had to pass through school, through back door, So for me, it was a whole lot of new things. I was so excited. I want to go there. I want to go there. I was like, I want to go on the field. I know you're a lady. I said, lady, tell me. I want to be there. I want to be everywhere. Even when it comes to traveling, lady doesn't travel. I said, sure. I would travel. I traveled. I had, at times, my uncle was like, how much is your salary? I said, there was a time I was like, I'll send you back to Lagos because I went to Abuja. I was begging. I said, I just love doing this thing because it gives me joy. That I'm helping people. I'm helping people get the right kind of joy. So BCI has been a place that I've learned, I've grown. It has taught me a lot that in life, number one, you need to be patient. In life, you need to be hardworking, and everything is just not hardworking. Your character also matters as you go. It's not just you getting a good job. Your character can also sustain your position. So in BCI, I've learned a lot. I've grown from being a check executive so I've really enjoyed all my stages.
Going from being a check executive,
yes,
to head of department.
Department. So it's a whole lot of new faces for me.
Wow. All right. Many people have spoken about BCI as if it's one mission organization. But 13 years is a very long time, and I know many things would have happened. Is there any other thing crossing your mind?
Yeah, I also remembered when I was still single, and I remember you always tell me, Sheil, when are you married? When are you getting married? You always been like, dear, I'm not ready. But you were so keen about that. You want to know who the person you are dating. You want to be sure that, you are on the right track. You also met with the person that's supposed to marry to. You assessed it, and
Is that assessing?
I also remember.
I only chatted with you.
I remember during the wedding, there was some things you told me. You just told me, you said, sure. I was actually panicking. I was like, don't I get the money? You said, sure. Go and get your wedding gown, get all the loads for Yapo, and tell your husband to get a suit. That the Lord will see to it. I'm like, okay, since you have said it. And that was what we did. And the Lord took control of everything. Like, it was like, no. And that was the word you said, go and get those things. And you see God coming through. And I did just that. And everything went smoothly. It was even beyond my expectation. So thank you, sir, for cancelling me at that time.
So thank God, sir, for making me to cancel you like that. All right. Like I've said, there were some things you said my birthday last year.
Yeah.
When I turned, I'm what now? 58. I'll be 59 August 6. So when I turned 58, Um, let me tell everybody out there, they all actually made me to cry. I wept like a baby, and I know weeping as a way of getting being so contagious. And everyone that bottled some things that they felt, oh, maybe I would have said this or that. Everybody started crying on that day. Of course, one of the things she said was one of the things that actually triggered the whole thing. All right. So I want you to tell the people, don't worry, I won't cry today. You can't make me cry twice.
Yeah, I remember my waiting time. Okay, before it end, I remember that, a new couple, not knowing so much about, the special room, So, and I remember that I came to meet him and was, we chatting, how is marriage life, how and I felt that I told him that, sir, he now explained that this is this, this is this, this is this. I felt, wow, okay, so this is what you're supposed to do. You really spoke to me because I've never had anybody, not even my parents, and you told me,
I remember that I told you to tell your husband.
Yes.
And I told you some of the things you should tell your husband.
Yes. Yes, you told me what I should tell my husband. And I explained to him. He also was very naive. He does not. So I told him, this is what my organ was like. How was it? I said, he told me, I don't know. And we did that. Honestly, it was, wow. I said, so this is how the other room should look like. And I was even the one telling other people that I've married for 4-5 years. And when I was explaining, so I was one explaining, this is what you would do, this is what you would do.
So you were passing it on?
Yes, I was passing it on.
Of course, I need to tell people at home that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sharon. My wife and I took it upon ourselves to always counsel either couples are about to marry or maybe immediately they get married, to tell them about sexuality in marriage. I've discovered that most churches don't talk about this. Even when they are going to talk about sex and marriage, they will just tell them 1 Corinthians chapter 7, your duties to your husband, your duties to your wife. And we discovered that many young, more especially Christians, young couples, the ladies enter into marriage very afraid of how it's going to be their first night, Many of them have had stories, oh, it can be so painful, oh, it can be this. So my wife and I took it upon ourselves to always at least counsel young couples what to do. All right. So.
Yes. Then the second one was because I had a waiting time after like 1 month.
So when you say waiting, what do you mean?
Like expecting to get pregnant, like to conceive, and it was like first year, second year, you were always there, you said, don't worry, the Lord will do it, even when you don't even expect it. There was even a time you got me one drunk like that. Yeah, thank you. You got me in trouble.
You have to say everything.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You got me in drugs, I was using my husband, and remember when, was it 2012? Yes, that's, I think I conceived and I lost the baby. It was a big thing for me. I remember calling you and I was crying, seriously. And you told me something. You said, sure, that means God does not want this one to stay. Maybe if it stays, it might not be what you wanted. Just know that it shows that, that's what he said. He said it shows that you can carry a baby. that should not cry, I should wipe my tears. That shows that God is doing something that I really...
I can't even remember.
Yeah. I think the following year, is it 20? No, sorry, it wasn't 22, it was 2013. I can't really remember the year. Then 2017, the Lord did it. I had my first baby. I remember when I had the second baby, it was 3 months after. 3 months after, I got pregnant again. Yeah, and I'm like, hey, but Lord, you know, when I was ending the third maternity leave and I conceived, I was like, hey, I don't know the person no more. You know, and when I shared the news with you, with DMT, they were so happy. Like, oh, but I said, it might be after 9 months. He said, no, I should not worry. That no, that shouldn't be a problem. That don't worry till when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. And it has been amazing. I have people, you know, my fellow colleagues. We have wonderful people in BCI. Like, you know, we treat ourselves like family. So it has been amazing ever since. So, thank you.
Wow. Those are some of the things she said last year that really, I mean, it wasn't a teary thing, it was it was pouring, because I could not even remember a lot of those instances of the things she was saying. Right, thank you so much, Shion. So what can you say? What are those things you feel? No, don't let me ask you that. So where do you see BCI maybe in the next 5-10 years?
Well, I see BCI taking over not just Africa, other country. Because what we have here, we really need to take it out there. There's so many countries that is waiting for BCI. So I see BCI taking over, not just Africa, even other continents. So I see BCI moving higher, like with speed. Yeah.
Amen.
And
of course, that's why you have this backdrop. And we have it there all over Africa. That's one of our vision in BCI, going all over Africa. Sean, thank you so much. It's really been nice having you on
Thank
Freedom.
you. Thank you, sir.
And happy anniversary to BCI.
Yes, happy anniversary to us.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. So I have somebody very, very special to me on the seat now. Is special because he has driven me for 16 years. So that means he's been my personal chauffeur for just like 4 years after BCI started. All right, so everywhere I've gone, he's been there. And so he's going to be speaking more in broken English, pidgin, as we call it in Nigeria. So me I'll try and do some pidgin. So Sheon, how you doing?
Fine, sir.
So what year did you come to BCI?
Well, good evening, everyone. I joined BCI 2008. So I'm Oluwase Olanrewaju.
All right. So you done the BCI for 16 years.
Yes, sir.
So what you go say your experience be for this last 16 years?
My experience is too I learned too much. I learned many things. Because when I joined BCI 2008, the first thing I want to, when I joined BCI in 2008, I just drive Mr. Kola Olubodi to come to Nigeria, to come to Lagos. But when I enter the Lagos, I say, here, na me you go drive this Oyibo come to Lagos. I enter the office. By the time, I saw many things. Here na this street I want to work. Well, I thank God. I was speaking with my Mr. Kola. He said, this is my driver. So he explained everything to me, to BCI. But by the time I think say make it work for 3 years or 2 years, make it leave the office. By the time Mr. Kola, they sit me down, they learn me, go do this one, you must do this one, you must do this one. I say, which man be this? Every time I come to office, you call me at night, sit me down, let me know right and left. Well, by the time I just walk, driving, go in many meetings, I say this way, I could stay with Mr. Kola Olubode. From there, they explain many things for me. If I dey carry and go anywhere meeting, big man. Another one, I go enter motor, he say, Sheun, I say, yes sir. Jesus is very, very important. I say, what this man dey talk to me? You know that place I just wait, I'm okay sir. But many times I dey driving, go out, come office, go anywhere meeting, you go tell me say, like Jesus, know Jesus very well. I say, thank you my oga. But now I learn many things for this BCI, because the way I join BCI, I don't know say I dey work BCI, which kind BCI? What the name of this one? Me, I no go work for the year. I say, BCI. But many people, they call me at that side. Say, you dey drive this man. Say, he go pay you. I say, he go pay me. But the way I go meet Mr. Kola several times, say, I need this thing. Say, make it angry. Say, which kind this man? Sometimes I dey drive rough for the road. He look me like this. He laugh, but he look and say, this man make it do like this. So many things I learn very well for BCI. But thank God, I'm here today.
So you have spent 16 years.
Yes, sir.
And so do you imagine, say you go there here 15, 16 years?
Even though I no fit think say I go here 16 years to this time. I no dey because sometimes when Mr. Kola tell me say go buy this thing for outside, if I see many people dey fight, you go think say make e fight with this one, make e if sometimes somebody say e shoot somebody, I go say you see this man, let me come down, let me go and assist am. I say Mr. Kola BCI, just sit down, just gentle. So I'm happy for BCI.
All right, one of the things I always tell Sheun when he's driving, I think I still repeated it to him this week. I told him, you don't drive the way you want to drive. You drive like the person you are carrying wants you to drive. And I was telling him that the person you are driving rough for on the road, do you know whether he's a client or a staff of a client? Do you know whether he's one of the pastors that have invited me to their church to come and preach? You don't drive the way you want to drive. You drive the way that if it is me driving that vehicle, that's the way you must drive. I remember maybe it was like 7 or so years ago. I've always been telling him this, but maybe he thought I was always joking. We were just coming from home that day, And yes, it was the last mile guy that passed him. But a car was coming. And I've told him severally, even if last mile pass you and you see another car approaching, you stop for that car. So because last mile passed him, he just drove in, thinking the other car was going to stop. So he hit the car. And lo and behold, when the guy sitting down in the car, I mean at the back of the car, the driver was driving. When he came out, lo and behold, it was actually one of the clients of BCI. When the guy came out, I know he must be watching this, Mr. Matthew Olaleye, he too does not miss trade. That day when he came out, and I came down and he saw me say, Mr. Olubodi, of course, like I always tell him, if you hit anybody on the road, I'm going to be responsible to repair their car. If they hit you, I'm still going to be responsible for it. I mean, repairing their car. Maybe he didn't understand it. Of course, I knew his driver was wrong. But I told him that day, sir, go repair this car and then send the bill to me. So I think from that day, he learned a lesson that you just don't drive anyhow. And of course, I remembered an instance, maybe he was sick and he was driving and I discovered that he was dozing while driving. Of course, I had to tell him to park. I told him, yeah, what's up, man? And I took over the steering and I drove. And I remember another time we traveled somewhere in Osun State and he took him. He slept all the way at the back of the car, I mean the back seat. And I drove all the way from Osun State to Lagos. All right, so BCI is 20 years old. So what do you want to say as touching BCI? What do you want to say to BCI?
I don't want to say anything, but I wish BCI congratulations. Mr. Kola, I wish congratulations. And Africa, everybody, congratulations.
Okay.
But more, we are reach 40, another company, from another way, another country, from everywhere in this country. God bless BCI.
I hope you all understood all his English. Don't. If you need an interpreter, if only he has greeted Nigeria, he has greeted Africa. Meanwhile, he's supposed to just say congratulations to BCI. All right, Shino, thank you so much. God bless you. You know, when those moments when he first started and it was very raw, I took him from a very, raw and humble background. And you know, when he's misbehaving, I always feel, is this guy not possessed? But the only thing that made me to really make him stay was anytime he comes home, the dogs are always very happy to see him. The dogs will actually be barking like 3 minutes before he gets to the gate. So if dogs can like you, then I don't think you have a demon. And I remembered, I think it was 2020 when I was really very ill, very, very ill in the hospital severally. I remembered that time, Jill and my son, they both do the night shift in the hospital. So they were with me almost every night until I was discharged. Of course, all those things made a lot of meaning to me. And I saw something so deep inside of his heart. I saw his maybe love. Yes, we fight a lot, but yes, I saw that he was looking beyond all those things and he stayed. So all those things were what endeared him to me. All right. So if he has stayed 16 years, yes, there are times I've told him to go, and I thought he will go. Then he will go and go tell the whole world to come and beg me, you know. And of course, all those things meant a lot to me. All right. So Sheung, God bless you. Thank you for all you've done in BCI. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right, so Oga Mohammed, how long have you been here in BCI?
I'm going to 5 years now. More than
It's more than 5
more
years.
than 5 years now.
All right, so Mohammed is one of our securities in BCI. All right, so what do you feel say about the company?
We thank the Lord now that the company since where I enter, I don't see anything is bad. I'm so happy. And all the workers, no one of them irritating me. If they see me, they're happy with you. All of us, we are happy. We are discussed. I don't see anything is bad.
So is there anything
I'm very happy.
where the company do for you, where make you appreciate the company so
Yes.
much?
Yes,
Because
because
for you to stay this long, I know many people go don't move.
yes.
So what will make you stay?
Number one, salary is not delaying. That is number one. Even during the corona time, I'm not even expect to get salary. When I see a lot, I say, for 2 months, people not come office and they are paying me as if my salary. Now the thing will make me happy more than that one. Two, even Salah time during the Muslim this thing, they are giving me money. Not one, not two, not three. Anytime Salah time, they are giving me. So that thing is make me happy more than other things said. So they are pure well.
Okay.
So,
All right. So since BCI they do bad day now, so what thing you want to say to BCI?
anyway, I'm very happy to make God pray, make I pray to God make you get more year and make BCI make it stand up. So I dey happy very well.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
You know, most times when I'm leaving at the office in the night, some of the young guys that go with me, I didn't know they were studying me. Anytime I get to the gate, I must stop. And I must say, Mohammed, how you dey?
No time. No time when Oga he passing, where you no go stop say how are you? Good night. I'm happy more than that one. So you are taking me as a human being. I'm working for somewhere. Nobody. You go to stop Oga like this. You go stop say Baba, how are you? Or something like that. They are just moving. But I don't think say since where I enter here, Oga he pass where you no go stop. Say how your body, how this thing. Good night. Anyways, they are telling me. So I'm very happy for that.
Okay, thank God.
Yes, sir.
You know, so those young guys, anytime I get there and I greet him, I think I've done it for like, I can't even calculate, maybe days or weeks or months. After I greeted him that night, they all just started laughing. I said, what's the problem? I said, you're always repeating the same thing.
Yes.
Oga Mohammed, how are you? Shey, you do fine. All right, good night.
Right.
I said, oh, am I always repeating the same thing? They said yes. So from that day, I started changing.
Yeah.
All right, so Oga Mohammed, thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah. Thank
Well
you, sir.
done.
Yes, sir.
All right, so CBN always have their governors. So BCI also has a governor. Uche Okafor happens to be the governor of the Central Finance Department of BCI. Uche, how you doing?
Very well.
Nice to have you on BCI. On True It All.
God bless you, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. Which also another person that hardly meets Mrs. True It All every Thursday. Now you're on True It All. How does it feel?
I feel very, very good.
So what makes you always want to watch True It All?
Well, it is a life-changing program. From the first time I read the book. You know, it was like Ayo, your former PA, gave me the book. I was reluctant to read it after a while, but when I started reading it, it is what the people of this day will normally say, it makes sense. It made sense. So it was good. And to buttress that, when I got to, my wife was curious to read, and I told you she read it faster than I did, and rounded up the book, because there are many life-changing experiences that someone could get, especially when it comes to you challenging yourself to do some of the things that ordinarily somebody would have said, forget it. I could recount when you were talking about driving through the rain. Yes. It's actually a wonderful experience, because that was like life and death. But God has a way of sparing people to testify at the end of the day. And how the thing was able to jerk out of the rail is still a miracle. A miracle. So your book was something that touched me. So anytime you're inviting people for the program, I look forward to gaining other experiences that could be very much different from your own. Like I know there was one man that was like, I can't remember, but he's on wheelchair. I think he has issues with the leg.
Okay.
It's a Yoruba man, young man, but they married an Igbo girl. I don't know whether you remember that.
Say more about it. Then
So the man was like, he was trying to tell them that I am not a challenge. See, you, the girl I want to marry, you are the one that will benefit from me, not me that will benefit from you.
Now I remember.
You remember? So he said that when he was getting married, trying to propose to the girl, the family was like, it was a no-no. So, but he was into tech. Yes. So, and that gave him who could work anywhere. So he was just telling them that I'm not going to be the person that benefit from the program or from this marriage. Yes. And at the end of the day, he said that they bonded so much that they don't miss. They don't like missing out on anything he's doing. They want to check out.
That's Temi and Vivian. If I can remember.
He should be married and Igbo girl. So those things are always. And then the other one that was a vulcanizer. You remember? That ended up being a lecturer.
He's not a professor.
Yeah, he's not a professor. So when you check all those things, you see, you look forward to, even though I told them most often on Thursdays is our pay clinic. So most often, even when I don't
You missed
join
the live show, you watch the
I
recording.
watch subsequent ones. So anybody that I've been watching will always look forward to see. I don't know what this tomorrow's one will bring. I don't know what today's one will bring. So that's actually why I normally key into the program.
All right, so you are True It All guests now. And we are talking BCI's anniversary. BCI is 20.
By the grace of God.
All right, so how long have you been here in BCI?
I've been here 6 years.
6 years. All right, so I know you are one of the very few staff that worked somewhere else before coming to BCI.
Yes.
And like 70% of BCI staff actually, this is like their first place of working.
Yeah, by my estimate, more than 80%.
Okay.
More than 80%.
And many of them had stayed, over 7 years. So you coming in from another place to here, what was maybe your experience like, the culture and everything?
It's a different culture. in the first place, like you, up to now, you know, it is difficult for me to say oak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's difficult. Most often I say it's empty around, it's empty around. But I say everybody, both the intents, when people say oak, they blend so much. But you know, my people normally say that they don't left-handed ventures at old age. So that is basically that. So that's one of the cultures that people blend so easily. And when you compare with what obtains outside, you begin to imagine is it actually. Then when it comes to other things like the way people relate, the core values like amiability and all that, it's a very, very unique setup. Even though most often I would say that we have not actually grown to exceed what we expected or what is expected of us, because on the side of the self-discipline, I don't see ourselves meeting up to that. You understand? Even though it's the expectation of the management that we should imbibe such culture. So that's some of the things I realized that is quite very different from the place I was coming from. And I realized also that people are very free. People are very free to do whatever they want to do. And God willing gives us that liberty to work for anybody that wants. Yes, that's the difference between this place and where I've been working before. So,
okay, and then of course many people have spoken about maybe the God factor in BCI.
yes, that's another basic. You know, when our new HR came, and we were having a meeting sometimes, and I was actually saying that we don't need to call everybody for morning devotion, which we do every day, because God does not compel people. It's one of the things that we find out as a Christian. When somebody is born again and you decide tomorrow to go and become an idol worshiper, nobody's going to put a gun on your neck.
No.
Because God is a God of liberty. Even the God that created us is not forcing us to be born again. You didn't say we must, but that must is if you are interested in coming to stay with me. This is the prerequisite. This is the requirement. So when it comes to the issue of this very place, I was not telling that we don't need to, because sometimes I notice that people will be upstairs. We're having devotion. Maybe in about 2-3 minutes to round up, you see steps coming. I don't know whether it is the market attendant. That's basically why I told you Thursday that we don't need. Yes. And that God factor, honestly, maybe it is the basic things. And sometimes, you are the one that had the vision. You are the one that knows what God spoke to you. So one of the things that somebody will begin to say that God's hand is in this. The person that was not here when God commissioned you for this could say some things that will not go well with it. And what I mean is that when we are doing something elaborate, when we have realized that God is the one that set up this place, we should try as much as possible to toe that line. Because sometimes we don't know that we could be offended. Could be offended, especially when it comes to period of happiness. So that we should not overstep it. So when it comes to the God factor you're talking about, I'm actually excited because from the first time I came, I realized that you are the first person to start the business. So if the hand of God was not there, you wouldn't have even meditated or thought over it. So it was like an inspiration, and God made you to do it. So the hand of God is there, and that's why we need to continue praying every day. When we pray here, we normally just like, God will realize that you are the author of this very place. You are going to be the finisher. Okay. So that's it. So I will implore the management to always have that at the back of their mind, no matter what happens. And another thing, there was a time I was talking about some of the, like Madoka, this Charis.
Okay.
And there was another person, I was even telling the people that they have period they fast. So one of the other person, even not America, was telling us how he took his people to around Jos for a fasting program. So I was saying, could that happen? But you know, we started doing our own on first day of the week, first working day of the week. So the God factor is there, and I just pray that we keep maintaining it so that God will sustain what He started.
Well, thank you, Uche, for that. I know I've said it here severally in BCI. You know, Paul said in Galatians, said, have you started in the spirit? Do you now want to conclude it in the flesh? All right. So in BCI, we started with God. We started by the Spirit of God. And we'll never grow to a time that we'll think that now we can continue in the flesh.
That will be good.
So by His grace, it will never happen. All right. So are there incidences, one, two, that you want to talk about as part of your experience in BCI?
Actually, I want to thank God for the growth. I want to thank God for the growth sincerely. You see, today we're talking about Smart was just telling me that we have to service the big generator. And we are accountant said, can you recall how much you bought this gen? You say yes, about for me. Say yes. I say yes, 4 something million. I said, but do you know that time I bought that gen, it was not easy. It was not easy. We have deferred the purchase of that gen several times until it became so crucial I will have to buy it. So when I think of all those things, and I remember that I came 2018, and I know that I met arrears of salary owed to you. So most often when we have small money, DMD will say pay part of the arrears. So when I think about that these days, and I found out that we are no more owing, it's a very big improvement. It's a very big progress, and the staff were not being taken care of when it comes to lunch. Though we are being paid and paid well, but management now took it to another stage that I need to be taking care of the staff. So those are some of the development that I've noticed over time. And from the staff, most often you may not hear, but they say, thank God for this lunch, or if this lunch was not there, nobody knows what would have been happening by now, the way things are going on. So there have been very much tremendous progress and improvements in BCI since I came, and I know that is just the starting point.
Then talking about my salary arrears, you know, like I always joke once in a while. In some other organizations, CEO pay themselves first, and if there's anything left, the staff will be paid. If there's nothing left, they'll keep apologizing to them. But of course, by God's grace, what we've tried to do in BCI is to follow the example of Jesus. You know, just as Christ always talk about the servant leader. He that wants to be the first must be the last and the servant of all. You know, and that's part of the things that have helped us in BCI. Many months I wasn't getting anything here. Of course, those days when we were still building and the company was growing organically, you know. So there was no way I can say I want to collect salary or collect anything and it will not affect our cash flow, you know. So if you're talking about it now and how God has turned the story around,
yes.
And I can still get some things and it's not affecting anyone. I think we give God all the glory for that.
What thanking God for.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Uche. So the BCI of the future, you want to say one or two things you see that's touching this complaint?
Yes, I see better years ahead because, like I told you, from the 2018 I came till now, the progress has been there rapid. Not to talk of these new developments that we're having now about like a re-engineering process. I definitely believe that is going to take it to a greater height. I look forward to a period that even corpers, when they'll be posted, some will be struggling. They say, I want to go to BCI. You know, like when we are those years, those decades when we served, you know, some people will carry their letter, they say they are going to national, some will say they're going to mobile. You understand? Some say they're going to share. I know that the time will come when people will be saying, I want to be posted.
I think the time is actually gradually here because, you know, some young chaps that just came to do their IT, they were recommended or they were told that they must specifically come to BCI. And when they came, they were saying
From the
it was
secretariat?
no, from Crawford University.
Okay.
And they said it was this person that said we must come to BCI.
Yeah, started.
And they said no, they are not going anywhere at BCI. I think it's just the doings of the Lord.
Yes.
And it is marvelous in our
Very
sight.
much, yes.
I'm so grateful. Thanks for all
Thank
you
you,
do,
God bless
BCI.
you.
Uche. Thank you for helping
I only
us.
wish you the more.
I remember when BCI started 2004. I was the accountant, I was the driver, I was the business development person. And I'll keep the record for like 2-3 days. I'll forget for 1 week. Then when I want to now catch up, I say, so what did I spend? So thank you for making me not go through that punishment again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. All right, so I have with me now, interestingly, the oldest staff in BCI as of today. And that's in person of Yemi Fayemi. Yemi, nice to have you on BCI.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yes, nice to have you
On Twitter.
on Twitter,
Yes.
the BCI episode.
Nice having you.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so 16 years in BCI.
Yes, sir.
How has it been?
It's been an awesome, wonderful experience. And being the other staff, I've seen a lot because from the onset, I joined in 2006. And then there was an occasion that happened in 2007 that seems as if the vision will not.
If you joined 2006, that's actually 18 years,
years, yeah.
not 16.
18 years.
Sorry, it's 18 years has been here, not 16.
18 years. So, and then there was an occasion that happened in 2007 that seems as if the vision will not come to pass. So I was the first person that drove down to the office on that Friday. It was Monday. And when I got to the office, the whole building has gone down and our load were outside under the tree.
All our properties.
All our properties, computer, printers, everything under the tree.
You know, thank God that we were just starting. We didn't have as much
as much like now.
as it is today.
As it is now. So I met the load, I met the gadgets under the tree, and I tried to call Oak, but the line wasn't going through. So I have to book a call through German, Dr. Tunde Olugbodi. And he asked me that what happened, what really happened. I said, okay, they have given us quick notice before, but we didn't know that this is how it's going to be. So now I said that, okay, where is your boss? I said, okay, is he coming from his way from Abeokuta? But I tried to reach him, but the line wasn't going through. So I said, okay, all right. So he said, okay, we'll call you back. Then eventually he called back and he asked me a question. He said, okay, hear me. If you have money today, do you have a particular place to park into? I said, and when Dr. Tijolubudi asked me a question, you have to process it very well before you answer it. So I managed to say yes, sir. So we had a building I can park into. So that when your guy comes, okay, 2 of you come back and come to my office. And when we got to his office that very day, he usually check for us. So we took it to radio, Senate Bank at a radio bus stop. that Oregon site. So we had to do a bank draft. From there, we went to Allen Avenue. We want to go out to see Ajayi Patola, the estate, Sofio and followers. And when we got there, he said that, okay, they can show us like 2 places. So they brought us to Adeniji Estate, very close to this place. And they saw us a building. When they opened it, we entered. And Oak said that, we are not going anywhere again. This is where we are going to stay. And those guys said, okay, but we just want to show you this place. I said, we are comfortable in this place. Do us a favor that we have a part of the money we are going to pay today. So, but in the next 2 weeks, we are going to give you the balance. So they're reluctant and they asked us to, okay, let's go and meet their MD. So we went straight to Ajayi Patola, their MD, and we talked him to agree, and he agreed with us. So we came back and we said that, okay, let's go and bring all our gadgets.
All right, so the MD actually obliged us to pay half of the money, and he released the keys to the property to us. Sincerely, nobody does that in Lagos.
Yeah.
Even when you have your full money and you pay, you may not have access to the property maybe until some days, you know. I mean, of course, that could only have been God.
It's a divine people. So it's just it's a divine people. And God knows how he does his own things. So he arranged, that very day and say for some purpose. So immediately after said that, okay, I should go back to Adeni Jones to go and bring all the loads. And we brought the loads, we move it in, remain on the table of our MD, Oak. We don't even know how we are going to take it up. So everyone lose that very day. The rain started from morning till night. I've never seen that kind of rain in my life. The rain can make people to ask you that, okay, if God is involved, why is all this thing befalling you? So, and from that onset, there was something, a statement that I made that very day. I told Oak, say, Ọlọ́run máa fẹ́ràn wa o, that is God loves us o, as God is involved. If God is not involved, it wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have happened that very day. You got money that very day, you got accommodation the same day, we're moving the same day. So God is involved. So I will thank God for everything. And after, like 2 weeks after that time, Mobu gave us an account and a job to do. And from there, things turned around for good. And we are so glad. God has done great things for us. So we are glad today. We thank God for everything.
We thank God. And one thing that we have never shied away from in BCI is our trust in God. The US currency, they said in God we trust. We don't only trust in God, we believe in Him. And everywhere I've spoken, I tell them about the God value, God factor. Is it John chapter 15 verse 5 that says that Jesus Christ said, I'm the vine, you are the branches. Except you abide in me, you will all be alone. I said, without me, you can do nothing. All right, so our strength in 20 years has been God. And one of the hymns that I know we sing almost every year when we have our anniversaries or special programs, is always that hymn. Oh Lord, I help in ages past, our hope for years to come. Our shelter in the storming blast, and our eternal home. God has been our help right from the beginning, That, of course, the building was demolished, just to add to the story Emmy just shared. The building we got, when we paid for the property, we never knew the guy that stood as the representative of the landlord was actually defrauding us. So we paid, but the landlord never got any fund. And the landlord had made up his mind that was selling the property, So this property was sold just, barely a year or so that we moved into it, you know. And the young man that bought the property, of course, he told us, okay, I'm giving you some, I think 1 or 2 weeks to move out. But interestingly, maybe he changed his mind. And we went for weekend. I think I spoke to him on a Friday, and we went for weekend. And Monday morning, as he was getting to the office before 8, the building, the walls have been pulled down, and they magnanimously helped us to put our things by the side. And I think one of them was watching over them, you know. All right, I mean, the statement Yemi said, I tell you, up to today, I remember it. If anything will happen and I want to doubt if God is involved in BCI, I always remember that statement. Immediately they were moving in the last set of our properties. Heaven came down. Very heavy rain. And then Yemi said, God is involved in this business. He said it, and you know, it landed somewhere in my spirit, and I never forgot since that day. And the imagination was that what would have happened if we were still looking for property and then this rain came down? Of course, we would have lost everything we had then, you know. And then what would have happened if the estate agent refused to oblige us and accepted our plea that we'll pay you half? Please let us move in, because we're in a precarious situation. And we promised them, I think a week or 2, that we are paying you back, and God helped us. We're able to pay back. So God indeed is involved in this business. And of course, you are also one of the persons that, yes, you read through it all, but you experienced a lot of the things I wrote in the book. Maybe you want to mention that also.
A life story changing, and it's a book that gives hope when all hope lost. It's a kind of book that is vamping the life and destiny that have been badly battered. And it's kind of a book that can bringing people from obscurity even to the limelight. People that have been abandoned, even in Lodiba, bringing them out to dine, to sit down with the king and queen.
Wow.
In that book, I have 2 chapters of that book that motivated me, that make me to think more and more every day. Chapter 2 of the book, that's a masquerade episode. And then chapter 3 of the book, that's a challenging
The world cannot.
So those are the 2 chapters that make me to think and think every day. So in chapter 2, there was a masquerade festival that coincidentally, with Christmas festivity the same year. And then apparently Oak and one of his uncle or one of his siblings, they went to the market square to go and watch the masquerade. And when masquerade, was coming with cane and every other thing, so the guy fled.
I think you mentioned the name of the masquerade one time. But I did not remember. The one they told me the name of the masquerade, the only masquerade that comes out in my village and must not meet anybody on the road.
Obadimeji.
Oh, okay. Obadimeji.
Obadimeji. So, and the guy fled. So, Oak was on the ground. So, look out, look right, look left, look forward, look back. Couldn't see any help. And that's the point where Yoruba adage always say that tobacco what you see, quota, tobacco you see, quota, but tobacco on that's when you look forward, you look backward, you look left and right, you didn't see any help, then at that junction, then you make a decision. And that decision that you made that very day, that is trust no man, that I want to take my destiny into my hands, has taken you this far. And we thank God for that.
To give God the praise.
Yeah, and then the take home for me that very time or on that chapter is that no matter what, anybody can disappoint you. You can as well disappoint people, but don't disappoint yourself. The day you disappoint yourself, you are finished.
That's so profound.
Yeah, so,
That's deep.
and I used to tell people, even the second chapter, the third chapter 3, that's challenging the word cannot. You want to learn how to drive, and daddy said that you cannot drive now. So, and you said, okay, all right, one day I will try it, and you try it, and it works. God willing, because that episode, that chapter 3 that I'm just telling you now, and that I'm just telling you now, it's not just like that. You know, I have to cross railway, and railway is gaining momentum towards him. And only God just know how he did it. That he just have to, press the throttle, and then, he passed the railway.
For people that have not read through it all, you know, I started. My dad was teaching my siblings how to drive, and you know, when I approached him, I said, "Oh, Daddy, teach me also." And he said, in a very pitiable way, he said, "Kola, you can't drive this car." And you know, he was consoling me. I said, "When you grow up, you are going to buy your own car. It's going to be automatic." You know, but then I just discovered that anytime you tell me you cannot, I just want to tell you that because you said I cannot, I'll prove to you that I can, you know. And so I started teaching myself how to drive the car. The first day I was going to drive it and hitting the road. Suddenly the car got to a railroad and stuck. It decided to just go off, and then a train was actually coming, and I was trying to move the car, and each time I put on the ignition, it will move to the front and jack back on the rail line, and the train was so close. People were now around, they were screaming, "Jump down, leave the car, jump down." There's something in me was just saying, "I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it." And then I checked the gear. It was a manual car, and I discovered that the gear was in gear 3.
Okay.
Of course, I didn't understand the mechanism that makes it to jump and go back and would just move in gear 3. The only thing I knew was something. Then I could say something. Told me to change it to gear 1. I changed it to gear 1. Put my left hand on my left leg, pressed the clutch, pressed the throttle, all was down. And of course, I put on the ignition. I just removed my left leg, and the car just jumped. And as it was jumping, the train just went behind me. You know, that was the first day I had the feeling that God loves me.
Yes.
All right, so I had to put it straight for those that have not heard the story before.
Okay, that's okay. And then my take home, from that storyline is simple. That your upbringing, your background does not make you to be a useless person.
That's true.
It doesn't make you to be, to play second fiddle.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you to be, be a completely, surrender that, okay,
Becoming a nuisance
in life. I've surrendered to my faith. I've given up.
Someone that believe that nothing
Will happen in his life. So that's my take home for now. And then I think that is what spoil you, even to try, even this kind of company that has never even been done or been heard, even in Africa, or let me say, even in Nigeria. You try it. After a while, it works front and back. But today, we thank God, we give all the glory. Because I can do attitude. That's what spoil you to do this kind of to venture into this kind of a business. And then we thank God for everything.
Wow. Thank you for all those profound things you've done, you've said. Thank you so much, Yemi. All right, so BCI is 20.
Yes, sir.
And I know this is not the time to rest. So what do you want to say about the future of BCI?
Yeah, in the next 20 years, I'm seeing BCI transforming, metamorphose into a learning academy where African countries will come to Nigeria to come and learn the process of how we do things, to come and share our ideas and take it back to their country and go and practice it.
Amen.
I am seeing BCI even beyond verification, beyond address confirmation. I'm seeing BCI transforming even to a recruitment hub where companies will come around and source for I provide good hands, and at the end of the day, when they source for good hands, they expect us even to have their head status. I'm seeing BCI transforming to HMO as well, so that everything will be involved as we are moving even from verification, even to academy, from academy to recruitment hub, from recruitment hub to HMO. Wow. And I'm seeing a bigger picture even ahead of us. And apart from that, we know where we are coming from. We know that prayer, holiness has sustained us to this level. So we won't relent. We will add more energy, both physical, both spiritual. The tempo of our prayer
now reduce.
Must now be plus 20, times 21. So, and God will help us.
Right.
So I wish BCI, I wish all the staff happy anniversary, long life, Zakwala Olubodi, long life BCI, long life Nigeria.
Like I said when Kike was talking, 20 years from now, I'm going to be 79.
79. Yeah.
All right. And I pray to still be alive.
Yeah,
God granting that the prayer of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
To see BCI become all you have dreamt that is going to become, and what everybody have said. I've had a lot of dreams about the BCI of the future from quite a number of staff that have also spoken here. So thank you for what you have said here. May God bless you so much.
Amen, sir.
God bless you.
Yeah, congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, Yemi.
Yes, sir.
Viewers at home, I hope you have been blessed. I hope you have been blessed. My last guest just shared his own through it all experience, and through it all, God has been good to us in BCI. He just shared his BCI experience and makes through it all and BCI. All right, so he just shared his BCI experience. 2001, when I encountered God after many businesses had failed in my hands, and I went to cry on the neck of God and I said, God, help me. God led me to the Bible, and he said Isaiah chapter 41, and I started reading from verse 10, and he said, fear not, I will help you. Be not dismayed, I will comfort you. He said, I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness. And it went on until we got to verse 15. And verse 15 said, I will make you into a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. You are going to thresh the mountains, you are going to beat them small, and you will turn the hills to chaff. When I got to that verse 15, I remembered I started asking God questions. I said, God, what do you mean by this? And God spoke very expressly. He said, I'm going to start something entirely new through you in Nigeria. Nobody's doing it. And the question I was asking God is that, what that back then was God, God, is there anything new? Is there anything new? Long story cut short, the new idea came in 2003, and it was background check idea. It was my younger brother that actually was doing a research on background check, and it got to a point, God must have actually prompted him, gathered all the research he had made, and said, Brakola, I think it's you that God wants you to run this company. I wasn't taking it serious. I just took those things, reluctantly from him. And I was going through the things, the research he has made, the things he had done on background check. And at a point, it just dawned on me. Like God was saying, this is the new thing. That was like November 2003. I remember I started doing a lot of research after that on background check. And by 2004, we launched out. I remembered I was using my recruitment company to do the first batch of background check company. And when the job started coming in, after many people, 90% of the people I spoke to said the idea was not going to work. One of the persons said, who is doing it? He asked me, who is doing it in Nigeria? I said, no one. He said, if it's going to work, somebody would have been doing it ahead of you. When people don't give you any chance. And lo and behold, I started November, December 2003, and then jobs started coming in the early part of 2004. And when the first job came in, from Unilever, it was like, oh, so is this idea going to work? And then the second job came in from Fidelity Bank, the third one from MultiChoice. I think it was when that of MultiChoice came in that I said, wow, this idea is working. And we incorporated the company July 21, 2004. And here we are 20 years. The big experiment, it worked. From all the things that stakeholders and BCI have said, and the things we have experienced in the last 20 years, one thing that stood out and that still stands out till now is that God is involved in this business. He gave the idea, and the Bible says God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. He spoke it, it came to life, and here we are 20 years after. And so we would always say in BCI, oh God, our help in ages past. In the next 20 years, we say, Daddy, you are our help for the years to come. I hope you have been blessed. If you are someone that always think that God does not exist, I tell you, by the story of my life and the things God has done with BCI, God truly exists. You need to call on Him. You need to go to Him. You need to say, God, whatever you did for Kololubodi, I want to have a taste of it. And I can assure you, God will do exceeding abundantly, far over and above whatever you can imagine or you can ask or think. And one day you too will come on Creator to share this your story, how God took you from the married clay, whether in your business or marriage or whatever thing you dabble into, and it takes you far up into the rock to stay. All right. So 20 years, it's all about experimenting BCI. So from now on, the complaint is just starting. The experiment has ended, and we are entering into the real purpose why God made us to start. And it shall be so glorious. Thank you all for watching BCI. Thank you for following BCI in the last 5. For watching through it. When you carry many caps, you mix them up. Thank you for watching through it all. Through it all has happened for 5 years and it's not stopping. God bless you all. I'm coming your way again next week. God bless you. Bye.